Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. And myself, also on the show tonight is my mucker Southside and the one and only Bridgeman. Evening, gents, and a yabada to both of you.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Bridge. Good to be on the night. Hopefully talking about the Rangers. And looking forward to the game at the weekend, mate.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to it. Can I say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans that are listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Southside, we're going to hear for the view for a Bridge, but just give your thoughts quickly, mate.
Last night, I thought it was a bit better play, mate. Definitely brilliant result for us. We needed it. It was a must-win game for us in that category. Thought Aribo, best sort of 45 minutes to 60 minutes I've seen him play. Thought he was outstanding the first half, mate. I thought we started quite well. Could have lost a goal early, obviously, but the result was the most important thing if you're looking for us to go a wee bit further in the Europa League. I thoroughly enjoyed the game, and I thought it was a good win for us and quite a good performance overall.
Aye, so there's summing up there, but I think let's hear the view from the Bridge.
Good evening and welcome to our view from the Bridge. The match was Rangers versus Brøndby, 21st October 21, UEFA Europa League group game. A big Barry, first of all, a huge shout out for the Brøndby fans that came. Approximately 1,800 attended Ibrox. So a long time since we saw that, such a big crowd at Ibrox like that. Great, well done to them, and they were certainly loud and proud, that's for sure. They let everybody know they were there. So on to the game. We started the game quite slowly in the first minute. And Brøndby had a clear shot at goal. The guy ran 35 yards. He had leathered the ball. It went high and wide, but there we go. That just shows you how slow we were then. We did a similar thing at the start of the second half too, to be honest. However, apart from these two phases of the game and some of our defensive mistakes, which allowed Brøndby to get a wee shot in here and there, we allowed Brøndby the possession, which suited us. We were very good last night. A pleasure to watch, especially in the first half. I think we saw the emergence of Joe Aribo as a real top quality player in the European theatre. What a game he had, especially in the first half. Our midfielders were working well with each other. I really enjoyed seeing Davis and Lundstrom playing together. It was pleasing to me for AC. Both Davis and Lundstrom are top players, in my opinion. Nice to see them clicking too. We knew about the quality of Sir Stephen Davis, and we now know the high qualities of John Lundstrom. Well done to both of them. A great performance both. All of our players played well during the game. Tav and Goldson went from having an argument in the first half with each other and ended up having an excellent second half, assisting each other and supporting each other. Mulligan scored a great headed goal from a Tav corner, but he looked to be holding his hamstring a bit later in the second half. Unfortunately, he had to go off and was replaced by Bassey. The VAR system, which I've been shouting about for a long time, I really just noticed it last night. It was available. I have been for this, really keen for it, very, very keen to get it. And we saw the good and the bad of it to a degree. We got the ball into the net. Aribo on the right finds Tav with a good pass and heads for the box where Tav prods the ball in and gives it right to his feet. And he crosses to the far post for Alfie to head the ball downwards and goalwards. And the keeper makes a good save, but can't actually hold the ball. He managed to palm out, and the ball falls to Roof, who taps it into the net from about a yard. So that was 2-0 to us at that time. Initially, the goal was ruled out for offside, but then overruled by the width of the player's ankle, apparently, by the VAR system. I absolutely loved it. What a marvellous occasion that was for us. Well done to the VAR people, and that brought much delight for the Bears. What looked like a stonewall penalty for us, however, for a foul on Aribo, but the penalty play was denied by VAR. Very frustrated indeed. Rangers thoroughly deserved this victory. We could have been more than 2-0 easily. Probably for me, something like 4 or 5. We wouldn't have been embarrassed. We hit the woodwork 3 times. We were through 1-on-1 with the keeper a couple of times, but missed both of them. Final score was 2-0. well done to the famous. We march on. In my opinion, this is probably our best performance of the season at Ibrox, which will hopefully revive our Europa League performances. Hopefully next week we do better. The next time we're at Ibrox, we do better again. Player by player, McGregor is a 6, Tavernier 6, Goldson 6, Balogun 7, Barisic 6, Lundstrom 7, Davis 7, Aribo 8, Hadji 6, Morelos 6, and Roof 6. Match stats. Possession. Say it again. Man of the match was, in fact, what do you call it? I've forgotten his name already. Terrible. Aribo. Man of the match was Aribo. Apologies. Stats. Rangers 51%, Brøndby 49%. Total shots 18 for Rangers and 6 for Brøndby. Shots on target 9 for Rangers, 0 for Brøndby. Corners 2 for Rangers, 1 for Brøndby. Fouls 7 for Rangers and 6 for Brøndby. And that is the end of A View from a Bridge.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
A View from the Bridge. Yes, some interesting stuff there, Bridge. I think there's no doubt Southside Joe Aribo was man of the match.
Definitely. Probably the best 45 minutes I've seen him in a long time. He drived forward in that, done everything we'd be looking for a sort of midfielder in that position, and he had a great game, mate. He tackled well, he got stuck in, full energy. Great performance, bud.
Aye, but when you argue with that, mate, some of the skills he's got, possesses skills, 6'3", big guy, broad, reasonably quick, loads of skill. If I've just got one criticism, and it's no about last night, if he could maybe chip in with maybe half a dozen goals more a season, what a player we've got in our hands if he can hit that level of consistency. Bridgeman?
Yeah, I think everybody agreed with that. There was a couple of times there where he lined himself up and it just looked as if he was going to pull the trigger and he ends up, okay, he made a nice pass, he pushed it out wide or he pushed it through to somebody else. But the truth of the matter is we'd really love to see him having a shot because he has got a good shot. I think he only took 2 shots last night, both of them wide of the post. But the angle was right. You could see what he was trying to do. And actually, maybe the weather put him off as well because it was a wee bit... The wind was whipping the ball. It wasn't going the way they wanted it to go. But yes, that young lad, Aribo, what a star now. What a star. There he's in Europe. Best man in the park by a distance. Best player in the park.
I thought he was the best player for the first hour, but I thought the last half an hour, James Tavernier was my best player, Southside.
James Tavernier came in. I said that just a wee bit earlier before Bridge done his view. I thought a good hour, maybe 70 minutes, possibly. Aribo, he was outstanding. James Tavernier came right into it, mate. He started getting himself down the wing. He'd done a few nice link-ups with Alfie and a couple that Lundstrom played down the line to him, and he started to impose himself in their half. So him and Goldson as well, mate. He sort of done quite well in the second half as well. Knocking balls down the line and looking for players. So I thought at that point we had a good stranglehold in the game, Ox, to be honest. Apart from a couple of scares, they missed a right golden chance probably just maybe 5 or 10 minutes before half time when the boy cut the ball back for the byline. And he put it right out of the bar.
Barisic put us in Barney Rubble with that pass back before it just started second half.
That's right. There was a couple of wee scares. But can I just agree with you regarding Tav and particularly Goldson? I thought the second half, they must have spoken to each other at half time, and maybe even managers and coaches had a word with the two of them. And they stopped to bicker, and because they were bickering with each other for a wee while during the game, I saw. That's what I thought anyway. But they must have had a wee tiff, And then at half time, second half, it must have calmed down because I was suggesting the last half hour of the game, the two of them were back to their best, playing with each other, supporting each other, and it was great to see. And it was wonderful to see Tav in there being involved in play, tippy-tappy if you wanted to be that way, or even putting good crosses in. So assistant for a corner, a great ball through to Aribo to get the cross in for the second goal. Just marvellous to see. And everybody was praising Tav last night.
All right. The view for the bridge is finished. You can't.
Oh, sorry, pal. Sorry.
Right. We're going to hear. All you heard was bam, bam there. Right. What we're going to hear for your gaffer. Then we'll get the phone lines off and see if he agrees with you, Bridgeman. All right. Bridge.
Sorry, I switched myself off there. Sorry, pal. Yes, go for it,
All right.
please.
Okay. Let's hear for your gaffer. Stephen George Gerrard topping after last night's game.
Yeah, listen, clean sheet. I thought it was a strong home performance in Europe. We were under a bit of pressure tonight. We had to win the game. We accepted that. Thought the fans were magnificent, and the players have delivered the game plan we set out to do. The players have delivered.
That's the thing. You said pre-match that you felt you were close to a top performance. Is that as good as you've seen your team play this season?
Yeah, listen, you can still pick the bones out of little moments. You know, in the second half there, just as we started the half, you're thinking, do we want to give them a goal? But I think in the main, the majority of the game, we played with control. We dominated the game. A lot of players played well tonight, and it's really close to the performance that we've been looking for. We played well for halves and 60 minutes, but tonight was really close to a perfect 90 minutes performance.
Yeah, how pleased are you with the way the team managed that second half, particularly because Bromby did come out quickly?
Yeah, listen, at 2-0, it's one of them scorelines. You want to go and kill the game off, but at the same time, you want to, put the ball in their court and say, come on, then what have you got? So we want to just keep our shape, stay in the right positions, play with discipline, and then hope that some of their mistakes or them taking a gamble would lead to us getting in. That's the reason why we made the subs when we did. We thought maybe Fashion could get in behind if they pushed high. I thought the subs were excellent, brought energy, and it helped us control the game in the final moments.
You've been asking for goals around the team. Leon Balogun got his first for the club. Was that at exactly the time that you feel the team needed it in that first half?
It's a great header. There's no getting away from it. I thought the delivery was perfect. Tom Culshaw will take the credit again, like he does, for the set pieces. But listen, you've got to show that hunger and that aggression to go and attack it. But that put us in a good place. And then, we haven't been scoring enough ugly goals, if you like, just the tap-ins and stuff. So that's why Kamar's in the team, because he does run through the goal. He's always in the right areas. I know Ali's in the studio. He used to love them ones. And if you're a 9, they're the ones that get you big goals at the end of your career.
And we saw VAR come into use a couple of times tonight. Once for that Kamar goal.
It didn't work tonight. VAR, unfortunately, it missed a blatant penalty.
Yeah.
100%. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah, Joe Aribo, we just spoke to him. He said that he felt it was a
It's a penalty. I've seen it back. I thought at the time it was a penalty, and I've seen it back and I've confirmation VAR have missed one.
What about Joe Aribo's performance? He said you've asked him to stand up and be counted. How do you feel he's doing?
No, I never said stand up, be counted. I think he always gives you that. Listen, he's a great kid. He wants to learn. He wants to grow. What I've said to Joe is, you're a much better player when you play angry in a nice way. Flex your muscles. You're 6'3". You're a big, strong lad. Go and leave it on a few. Go and put yourself about. And when he does, he's a joy to watch. I thought his first 45-minute performance tonight was outstanding. That's probably the reason why he's tired a little bit, but he's played a lot. He's been away on international duty. But if he can find that performance consistently over 90 minutes, we'll be lucky to keep hold of him.
And there's been speculation about him, hasn't there? But we won't go into that at the moment. But just talking about this result, how big a platform does that give you now to go to Denmark?
Listen, we've kick-started our Europa League campaign. The first 2 results haven't been good enough, which put a lot of pressure on us tonight. But we've got to go and replicate this performance and result in a couple of weeks' time. We have to go away now and try and keep a clean slate and try and get on to 6 points. If we do, it's going to be very interesting. But what we've done is we've given ourselves a good chance.
That's the thing, isn't it? The results tonight have done that, haven't they? Leon have almost stamped their authority on the group, but what this result has done is thrown it wide open.
Listen, if we're realistic and we're humble, you've got to respect Leon. They're a top side with world-class players, and we knew that when the group was picked. That's not to say we're playing for second from the beginning, because you want to go and give it the best you can. But realistically, if we can get out of this group, it'll be a superb job.
You just touched on speculation for Joe Aribo. There's been speculation around your own name this week, Stephen. What would you say to those linking you with a move away?
Do I look happy?
Very.
Do I look settled? Don't ask me silly questions then.
Thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Don't mess with the boss. Just to let it stop there, just to let everybody know. We're all Mucker Fox looking tip-top tonight. Another delivery for Cousteau today, Southside, and God, does he suit that Garcia stuff, didn't he?
Aye. It's a blue one and a black one as they go out now, aye.
The two.
Two of them.
By the way, wow.
Looking very dapper.
Suits him, mate. Suits him. Very, very athletic, Fox. Right, okay, the gaffer. Don't mess with the gaffer, Southside.
Aye, mate, I think it was a wee bit of humour, mind you, with Emma, I think, slightly. But obviously, he talked well there and explained the game for last night and how he seen it, like he normally does. I agree with quite a lot of what he said, especially with Joe Aribo, as we spoke about there. So I just think it was a better team performance, Ox, and for more or less than 90 minutes. And although you're playing in Europe, you're going to concede chances. You hope you don't, but you're never going to play 90 minutes and really not concede a chance in Europe. So we got away with a couple last night, and the VAR obviously helped us as well in one way, and then went against us in another, as we've seen.
Definitely a penalty for me all day long. I thought it was a penalty the first time I seen it, and more convinced when I seen it on VAR. On the replay. I can't understand how it wasn't given. I think, I'm contradicting myself here. I think I know why, because they think it's going to be a clear and obvious mistake by the referee, so they must have had some doubt, so they can't overturn it. But if he gets sent to see that, he's going to get it as a penalty kick. Bridgeman?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, that's what I was saying in the view from the bridge, that we saw the good and the bad for the VAR tonight, last night. And these are the kind of things that's going to happen. We're seeing it quite a lot like that down in England. But I still believe that the VAR system I think we need to adopt it UK wide, and so everybody's playing off the same level playing field, and it'd be fantastic. If we introduced that, it'd be great. And it took 2 minutes or whatever it is it took to get the decision, but the decision was there, and that's it. Everybody got on with the game. Done. No arguments afterwards. No, there's none of this, none of that. That's it, done, finished. Decision is made. I'd be happy with that.
Penalty for you, Southside?
I didn't see it clearly, but when he went down and I heard the roaring, you can normally tell we're in the stands or all jumping up with the enclosure and stuff. So I take that it was a penalty. I didn't see it clearly. I got back up the road. But Stonewaller, I think it's how they word that, isn't it? Clear and obvious or whatever. It was a penalty, mate. It's a Stonewall penalty. I don't see how they can't give it. The problem is they should probably have entered. The thing that annoys me about VAR is most of the refs don't go over and look at the decision. They've gave the decision, so if VAR want them, they'll say sometimes I go and look at it, but all referees should go and look at it, I think, on the screen, because they're refereeing the game. It's not really the three guys that's in the box that's looking at the VAR, although they do that. And another thing, Bridge, what you're saying about introducing it, the thing about it is, right, it's in the Premiership, but the rules for VAR in the Premiership are sometimes different for the rules that they give in Europe. If you look at some of the handballs and all that, and sometimes in the Premier League they don't give them, and there's certain decisions that they don't give certain things. So VAR needs to be clear all the time for everybody, but certain leagues have certainly done it slightly different for other leagues.
Southside, can I agree with 100%? I believe it's got to whatever system the FA is introducing for the VAR, we should be adopting that. I think the last thing we need is for VAR to be introduced differently in Scotland from England or Northern Ireland. I think we all should be together, or Wales for that matter. All together, we all know what the rules are.
I don't think it's a British thing, Bridge. I think it should be consistent.
I'm not saying it is, but
within UEFA, that should make it simple.
Yes, I don't think you're going to get it the same in UEFA. As Suicide said, there are different ones in the European area.
But that's what it should be consistent. Anyway, talking about people who's always consistent, I've been joined by Amanda.
Good evening, all. How are we?
Good, you.
Evening, Southside. How are you?
Aye, good, Amanda.
Good. It was a good game last night. I thought, we had a cracking view, and it was definitely a penalty. Definitely a penalty.
My call sheet. Every time you phone Amanda, Southside zone.
It's funny that, and it's strange. Oh, well, we're obviously, I'm in the Spilstra stand, so when the penalty issue came up, we were right level with it, and it was a Stonewaller. my nephew said to me, pen, and I was like, but they're no singing at me VAR. He says, no, they've no gave us, they've no reviewed it, it's not a penalty. I says, oh, well, at least we'll get 2 goals to be good to know, you know what I mean? But no, I think, oh, and can I just make a shout out to my nephew who's 23 today, and congratulate Haji on his birthday as well. No, I felt it was a great game last night. I thought the whole team stood up and played well, and I just love the way Stephen Gerrard answers the questions. I just love the classy way he does it. Do I look happy? Do I look settled? Well, don't ask me silly questions then. That just sums it up, doesn't it? That just sums the guy up to a T.
He's classy.
Quiet.
Classy Gaffer. Classy. Southside.
I think during the game, Amanda, if you watch some of the midfield play, we moved the midfield about. Davis didn't always stay in the middle. He sometimes out in the left, and then he swapped it. Lundstrom was in the middle for wee spells and that. They sort of interacted a wee bit more last night. There was times in the game where it was a bit rigid, especially in the second half later on. I think we sort of went into a 4-5-1, to be honest. But, you know, we went a bit tight the last 10 minutes. So, but it was a great performance, Amanda. It was something we've been looking for, a bit more sort of at it, you know, more in control of the game, especially it was a European game. And usually, like we say in Europe, if you're no tight at the back and that, you get punished. But so, overall, it was a good 3 points for us, Amanda, to kickstart the Europa League run, you know, hopefully.
I just think the whole team last night, from midfield to defence to front row, they stood up and they played well. As I say, the second half, for the last maybe 15-20 minutes, they kind of get into it a wee bit, but we can up their game again. And I just thought, even the way the players reacted at the end was brilliant, you know. As I say, I just thought it was a great game. I mean, I'm just glad to be back at football now. But, you know, the thing is as well, for people that have never seen a European game like that, you know, some of the youngsters, you know, they've never seen a European game like that. So it's just a great thing to be at, isn't it, really? And as I say, anyway.
You're talking about the youngsters, or you're talking about people like me?
Okay, Oxford, of course.
Thank you.
It's Rick Man just fell off his seat.
Exactly.
No, but I thought the whole team from front to back played really well last night. As I say, I'll let you go and let more callers come in, but have a good weekend, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Amanda.
Yeah, fair comment, Amanda. Where she sits in the main stand, she would have had a right good view of that penalty, and I thought it was a penalty all day long. We might not have scored it right enough, but I must have picked the first one Southside. Even when it went to, I said, that's get chopped off, it's offside. They're just checking it because that's what they do with the goals. And when they gave it, I was still in a bit of shock. It was quite funny watching the players. They didn't really know what he did.
It was well, where I sat, everybody round about me and that, we all said offside. As soon as he stuck the ball in the net, we all said he was offside. And then obviously the ref ran out at the touchline and he was getting something checked or whatever was wrong. But I didn't think anything about VAR, and we were just sitting there saying, it's offside. And then obviously next minute he's up and it's gave the goal. I don't know if it was on the screens because I can't see the big jumbo screens for where I sat. But we were just sitting round about, and because of the view we've got, we looked right down onto the sort of penalty spot for where we sat, and we were all like, he was offside there. He looked slightly in front, but it was a surprise to me that we got the goal, but obviously it looked like he was onside. You know, so it was a good one, mate. It was certainly a good time to get that goal at that time in the game as well, you know.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question for both of you. We've talked about a lot of positive stuff in the last few weeks, but is John Lundstrom starting to arrive at our club, Southside, Denbridge?
Well, it looks like he's starting to get into the game now, mate, and he's settled in. It's probably a bit harsh on him quite a lot. He's probably at the start. It's like, I think when a new player comes in, mate, you know, they take a wee bit of time to settle in. Sometimes they come in and they get flying straight away, but usually the majority of them take a wee bit of time. I think obviously finding a position for him as well, where we were going to play him. I just think his fitness levels are up. He knows the system now. He's learned it. He said himself in an interview he gets more of the ball now than he did at Sheffield United at times, and he played a wee bit on the right further up, and he's also played on the left further up for them, he said at times. But he also said he had played in that holding role as well. So it looks like he's going to be comfortable, mate. And I think we're seeing a big difference. I think he gives the midfield energy. I think he gives it a bit of pace. And I think quite a lot of the times you see he moves the ball a bit quicker across the park to certain players. So I see a big difference in him, mate. And I think he's going to look like he's going to start to get these sort of performances off him, and hopefully a bit better. And all we're looking for is if he gets in positions to try and do what he did against Hearts, shoot, and hopefully we'll get some goals as well for him.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said there. I think that John Lundstrom, I said it for a few weeks now, but for me, he's going to be a huge player for us, really. A big star. Going to be a big star for us. I love the way he interchanged with Stephen Davis for patches during the night, during last night's game. It was just excellent. And I love the way the team looked for him. He's standing looking for the ball. They're looking for him. And it's all there. All the sort of energy is all there. And he's a great passer of the ball. Look, don't get me wrong. There's going to be times when he falls over the ball and things like that. That's going to happen. But no, he's a really good player. He's involved in virtually everything. And it's great to see. It's great to see. It wasn't him who was doing it last night, it was Davis.
It just shows you your first impressions. You've got to judge somebody after maybe a dozen games. Southside, you can say the jury's out. You're looking at somebody, but you have to give him a bit of time before you can start making a judgment.
He did look a bit off the pace, and he did get sent off in that, and it was silliness, a wee bit of frustration. But you've got to look at the big picture, mate, is going forward. We wanted him to come in and fire straight away, and he didn't. But if you look now and look what he's starting to produce, and obviously I think Stephen Davis sometimes, I don't know if he'll play as many games this season as a lot of people think. I thought he would have played quite a lot, but I think at the moment Lundstrom could come in and play in the centre, and I think he's doing a good job. So, but when the two of them played last night, it was good because they interchanged in that, and they didn't look like they were just playing wee short passes. The only thing about that is when you're playing Lundstrom and Davis, and if it's a Kamara, then you're looking about who's going to score a goal for midfield, or else you're looking for them to be setting up the passes to get the ball through for goals. But it's no a midfield that you'd expect a lot of goals from. But the positive is he's playing well, mate, and he's starting to show that the manager's seen something and the backroom staff seen something in him. So hopefully it's going to be a big positive, and he's going to have a big season for us.
Here, pal. Here.
Aye, okay, right. This boy Aribo, the twos have seen some of the greats, from Baxter to Maradona, used to, right? From Stanley Matthews to Ruud Gullit, you have seen them all. How far can this boy go, Aribo?
I'll take that one first if you want.
On you go, Bridge. On you go, mate.
I would suggest that Aribo is now, the stature of Aribo is there for the whole of Europe to see, and he's playing at international level. So it isn't a wee boy anymore that we brought in and nurtured them. We brought him through to this, and our manager's asking him to do that a wee bit more on the physical side, and he's doing it. He obviously needs to learn to do it a wee bit better, if you follow what I mean. And my goodness gracious, he was pulling the ball out of the air last night. He was stroking it around. He was running these guys ragged at times. Sometimes 3 and 4 guys round about him, and he was whittling his way through them. Just fantastic. What a performance. And if he keeps doing performances like that, oh my God, the world's his oyster. The world is his oyster. We'll be very lucky to hold him. Very lucky. As a manager said, tongue-in-cheek.
Southside?
We've seen wee clips of him, I think, when he was at Charlton. And he made the statement that if he comes up to Scottish football, he's not going to enhance his career. So if you look at what Joe Aribo's done now at Glasgow Rangers, he's played in Europe, he's won a league, he's competed for a league, he plays at a club that has to win every week. So all that entailed, and I think now he's grown.
Was that the same manager who left the club to go to Birmingham?
Aye. Obviously, he wanted to try and keep him. They were probably going to look at a big fee for him and hope that he might have signed. They were never going to keep him, were they? But he certainly developed to us. Ox, that's the thing. He's learning for the backroom team and a player like Stephen Gerrard and Gary McAllister. Me and Big Al used to come on, and I know he's not his favourite, and I used to say to Big Al, I think we agreed that playing deeper in midfield, I think he didn't work hard enough. But I think last night proved in that position that he was playing that he can certainly graft and certainly play. Never doubted his ability, Ox. I mean, for the size of him, his close control, he can go past players. And I think playing in Scottish football as well, mate, toughens him up. I've seen players come with, even when Michael Arteta came here alone, if you remember. Certainly he said it toughened him up and that. So Aribo was the same, probably coming to us. But he's a wonderful gifted player, mate. And he sees can see a lot of passes. It's just sometimes I used to think his work rate's not high enough for us sometimes, you know. But it's slowly changing my mind, mate. Great player. And last night typified that to me, that he's got that in his locker. It was just performances like that for us.
If we're being honest, when we talk about maybe him playing in the three midfield or three up front, Mark's preferred position for him would be in the forward three. But he showed us last night he's maybe developed, and I'll use the word matured, Bridge, that he was aware of people going behind him that we never noticed before, and right down in front of a USAP Bridge, he was back tackling, winning tackles, coming away with a paw. I don't know if he could have done that 2 years ago.
No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have probably even thought about it, you know. He would only go as far as he thought, and he never thought about anything like that. The coaches, I'll take my hat off to them. They brought him in and brought him back up to a level where they can just release him now. Just release him, go in there, and they'll just prod him here, prod him there, go and look at that. That performance last night was just unbelievable. I mean, all the guys around with me in the Copeland rear, they couldn't help singing his praises. It was just fantastic. Just fantastic. Actually, he got pulled down about 3 or 4 times and never got a free kick out of the 3 of them. There was 3 times they got pulled down and the referee played on 3 times. And they could have been freaking with free kicks and bookings. Never did it. Where was VAR? But no, I think the boy's fabulous. I think he's a fabulous player. And I hope he doesn't make us all eat our words. But I think he is going to be a wonderful player for Rangers. A wonderful player.
Oh,
yes, mate.
See, when you're saying like you prefer him further up, I think Ade as well, right? But see if he could produce sort of driving forward in that for midfield like he was doing last night, then I mean it would be great for us, because then you'd have one of your midfielders sort of busting forward quite a bit, you know. So we're sort of quite static across the midfield at certain times. But I know what you're saying. We all sort of agreed up front on the wing. You could 1-on-1, you're hoping to isolate him, but he's shown great quality now in the midfield, you know.
Not watching that last night, mate. You would say that he's no number, if you like, 7, he's number 8, you know. You know, he's in midfielder coming in rather than playing up outside.
Aye.
In the wing, you know. Fantastic performance for him. Just the way he beat Fleetwood and what he done with the ball was just... He's a cage player, Southside, if that makes any sense. He's not changed since he was maybe 12 years of age.
Aye. He's comfortable in tight situations with the ball. He's quick feet, you know. He's wonderful balance. Just used to think he was a wee bit light in that, but he's not. I mean, you can see it last night. He was putting himself about. That was the thing. He'll not play like that every week, but we'd like to get a good performances like that out of him. No, we can see what's in him, you know. And last night he certainly showcased it.
Aye. Okay, if you get any thoughts on Joe Aribo, give us a call. Let's hear from you. Oh. Maybe not. It must be away trying somewhere.
Oh, come on and give us a call.
Well, it must be away trying Mary's cash store stuff on Southside.
Come and give us a call. 01256 1972.
You know, I don't know what's happened to him now. Nobody's not making a film with Alec Baldwin. Right. Oh, hope Fox is alright. Right, aye. Joe Aribo, man of the match. A lot of positives last night. Goalie didn't have a lot today. Barisic looked a wee bit short of confidence. Took him maybe about 20 minutes to recover for that kamikaze back pass and bam, bam, you know what I mean? Put us in Barney Rubble, south side.
It's all happening tonight, isn't it?
Did they talk to me? Fox isn't
Can you
talking
hear
to me.
me?
South side's no talking to me. Just you.
That's all right. Carry on.
Yes. Aye, Barisic, that. Oh, we got a Gio there, Bridgeman, didn't we?
Barisic for that pass back.
Aye.
I think there was probably the loudest roar of the night, and it was against us for the rain. Unbelievable pass. By the way, it's a fabulous pass. Straight to the guy, you know. Unbelievable. So he obviously is not hitting the ball hard enough where he wants it to go. He's trying to place it. He'll try to be 25-yarder here back to Goldson or Balogun. And by the way, he doesn't get 20. I mean, 25. It's terrible pass. And obviously he's fought to get back into the game, which he did. Good. I mean, well done to him. He got himself back into the game. Hopefully he's got confidence lifted again, you know.
Mm-hmm. Are you back with us, Southside? No.
Aye, mate. I'm sorry. I didn't even know you'd came to me. Sorry.
Oh dear. Right, said Fred.
Staying a wee private call to Amanda.
Aye, how we doing, Big Al?
I am fine, gentlemen. I'm good.
You're a bit quiet,
How are you?
Biggie. I know it's not like you.
You all
That's
right,
what?
Big Al?
I am fine. I can hear me all right.
Sound good.
That's
You
it.
don't sound good.
All right, Bridge, all right. Calm
I'm
down,
lying in
Bridge.
my
All right, okay, I
stretcher.
can see now.
Right, you all right there, big man? What's on your mind?
No, not much. Joe Aribo, but it's a consistency thing, I think. We'll see how he goes on Sunday. Look, fair to the big guy. Probably the past two games have probably he's starting to catch my eye a wee bit more. But I think you said yourself, he needs to add goals. Look, we're a demanding fans, aren't we? He's playing well now. Now we find another wee chink in the armour. We need goals for you. You know what I mean? So, look, I think he's getting there, but we'll see. If he carries performances week in, week out, well, aye, the world's his oyster. But I think that's what he does lack is the consistency. And for him being 6'3" and built like the proverbial door, he is a wee bit timid, I think. He does need to listen to the manager and throw himself about a wee bit more. But I just don't think that's in his nature. He puts his head down a wee bit. To me, he doesn't have that kind of glint in his eye. But I'd like to see him doing that. I don't know if you could be successful in Scottish football being a bit more aggressive. But look, if he gets that consistency thing and he starts doing it week in, week out, yeah, definitely, the world's his oyster. But for me at the moment, I'm still 45-50 on him.
Aye, well, listen, mate. People see the game differently. Some guys like guys that dive into tackles. Some like dribblers. Some like runners. Everybody sees the game differently.
Oh, I like the way he does it. I like the way he does. He's controlling that. I definitely like it.
He can make players look really silly. Southside.
Aye, Big Al, we used to say before it, I used to think sort of if you're going to Pittodrie or something like that and you're going to Hearts and that, he might not be the type of player in the middle of the three that'll work hard enough for you and that. But I think sometimes you can maybe, if you're controlling a game and he's on the ball, then obviously we're looking for him to open up teams and obviously add to goals. But we're looking for good performances in that off him. And I think last night was a good performance. I said that. He's got that in his locker, but we've not seen a good 45 minutes like that off him for a while. So I think it's his best 45 minutes for a long time, you know.
See, that's the thing, I think, Southside, is it's 45 minutes. You want to see it 90 minutes. I know it's very difficult. Aye, you know what I mean? That's what I'm meaning as well. We're very demanding.
We've not seen a 90-minute performance off any player, really, have we? Since the start of the season, you know, but see, the thing is, I don't want to be too negative about it, Big Al, because see, at the end of the day, I think you've got to take into consideration the season before. It was a wonder season, no? What we've done, the consistency levels and the amount of goals and that. So, but if we keep looking back at that and hoping that we'll, so I just think when I've looked at the game, like I think Hearts mugged us, right? They mugged us basically,
Definitely.
but so you come out a bit deflated in that because we didn't see the game out. But overall, I think because we've spoken about it and we've alluded to it, we're still not been able to play a consistent 11 even for two. I know he sort of changes it, but even if we could get 2 or 3 teammates together on a wee run, so we're having to keep sort of changing it and looking for that bit of consistency. But I think probably in the last 2 or 3 performances now, we can see that we've started to get that bit better, and it could have been better if we took better chances, but we're starting to play a bit better. You know, last night's performance was pretty good for long spells, you know.
Mm-hmm. I agree with everything you said there. It's that consistency thing. As I said before, I think we demand better. You're right in what you say. Last season's gone, but you've got to take some, I don't know, some encouragement for last season as well, knowing that you can do it over extended periods of times, over extended runs of games. So it's difficult. I don't know where the manager gets the confidence in the players to go on a run now. You know what I mean?
Big Al,
Yes.
How did you rate? I mean, don't get me wrong, they're the Danish champions. They're not the best team. They're no Real Madrid, they're pomp or PSG or Liverpool that's now turning up at your stadium. But you've got to beat what's in front of you. We won quite comfortably. So how did you rate it?
Rate them as a team?
No, last night's game performance.
I wouldn't say it was a bet. Somebody said, I think, it was like. I think when she was interviewing, was that the best performance? I don't think it was the best performance. I think we've had better half performances, if you like. But it was a good result. We got the job done. It's not that important to me. That this game on Sunday is important to me. I want to see a performance in the league. So it's difficult. It was difficult for me to answer. I'm glad we won. I didn't think that team were any great shakes. We can play better. I think there's still. I'm not keen on Lundstrom and Davis in the middle of the park. I prefer Lundstrom at the moment. I think Davis is time waits for no man, if you like. Because I think Lundstrom, I think Southside said that he gives us a good set of legs in there. And I keep going on about it. I just want to see the team driving forward. So I think the balance in midfield. Yeah, I think that helps Aribo and it helps the strikers and it helps. I think there's quite an imbalance in the midfield personally, and I don't know if we play Lundstrom as a hold. Is he a holding midfielder? Because he seems to like to drive forward as well.
He gives you things playing in there that Davis doesn't. Davis has been the bedrock of the team. I'd say the bedrock of the team, but it's the guard might be changing, you know.
But I think when Davis is in there, we lie too deep. Davis lies too deep, and that's him just doing that job. But that's fine if he's lying deep and 2 players or 3 players in front of him have got legs that can drive us forward. I'd just like the team to be sitting up closer to the opposition's goal and working it for there. So I think Lundstrom. I think we need to get some other mix because one you said there, Davis, Kamara. Lundstrom's maybe a goal threat now. Kamara and Davis certainly aren't, and I think maybe Bacuna could be the goal threat if he can screw the nut a bit because he seems to like to drive forward and maybe Ryan Jack, dare I say it, Ryan Jack, or you have your Kamara as a holding midfielder. I don't know. There's a bit of a mix in there. I just want the midfield to be further up the park so we're not right in front of our defenders.
Right, I get it, man. I think what showed last night, Southside, then we'll go to bridge with it, that Davis and Lundstrom can play together, but maybe Lundstrom's ahead of Davis in form at the moment in that central position. That be fair, Southside?
Aye, mate. Well, I said earlier, I think Lundstrom could probably be sitting playing midfield, Big Al. mean, we can say he plays middle of the. If he comes in for Davis, he doesn't. We're hoping he'll not have to drop so deep and pick the ball up by Gill. We're hoping that if he gets it, he'll get it round about just before the halfway line. And there might be times when he will be able to drive forward, you know. Davis, I just think he's played a lot of games already at the start of the season. I watched it last night. I thought it was good because he interchanged the two of them at times. But you're going to go to St Mirren on Sunday, Big Al, and it's going to be a tight part and it's going to be a battle. So I think there'll be maybe changes, you know.
Aye, but he'll drop Davis, surely. He's not going to play Davis there, is he?
Well, he has in the past.
Aye, but look,
I would think, in my opinion, probably he'll bring Kamara back and I think Lundstrom will start. It'll depend whether he wants to pick a Rebo in that position and if he's keeping the sort of front three similar. You know?
Look, on the Rebo thing, I think you've got to keep him out in midfield. I think he's a player that can be utilised further up the park. I think he's shown he can play that bit up higher, wherever it is across the front three. The midfield, that's what I mean with the midfield. Look, we've got to have the conversation about Davis. We're probably all didn't like having the conversation about Davis, but it has to be had. I think at the moment, Lundstrom's first choice in there. For me, it's a different dynamic I think it brings to the team, and I think that's what we might be a wee bit scared of. We want to have that bedrock of stability, but Davis plays too close to our defenders for my liking. So if Davis could play further up the park and he had the legs to do it, by all means, and he's playing well. But I think at the moment, I think we've got to stick with Lundstrom. I think Kamara's one of the better options at the moment, but I do think we can improve there as well. I think that might be a thing that Ryan Jack might be able to come in and do, but that's going to take weeks, maybe a couple of months to see the bonding between him and Lundstrom and however it goes. Like,
I get some of that. I think we've got to. I think it might benefit John Lundstrom playing with Davis at times. Bridgeman, Britain's base cap player. Obviously, the point is Southside's making it sands of time waiting for no man. I understand that fully. I don't think Davis has done a lot wrong. I think it's more that John Lundstrom's coming to the fore. Bridge?
He's looking like he's becoming an unstoppable force, an irresistible force maybe. I think he's playing really well, Lundstrom. And I liked it last night, and I think a lot of the guys up at Copeland anyway that I'm involved with all like day two playing together. No problems at all. No problems. I didn't see any anyway, and nobody else did, in my opinion. But then again, the rest of the stadium may have seen slightly different. I didn't see that difference. I think Lundstrom's a great player, and I think what you're looking at now is possibly 2 years from now, 2 seasons rather from now, you'll start to see Stephen Davis not playing anywhere near as many. Sorry?
How long?
I reckon about 2 seasons. I think he'll finish up this season, he'll still be playing this season, and the following season he'll start to take a back seat. So that's what I think will happen, and then he'll probably be heading for retirement or into the coaching side of things. That's what I think will happen. Because
I'll be honest, as much as I would love to see it, Bridgeman, I think what is Southside with us, I think the change in the guard is happening in front of your eyes.
Oh, I can see. That's what we're trying to say to you. You can see what's happening now. The changing of the guard is starting to happen, but it might not. It's not going to. I don't think it'll finish off at the end of the season. I think it'll go on into the next season and finish off then.
Bridge.
Yes, Pam.
This is just my opinion. I think this is Stephen Davis's last season. You know, we've got to move the team on. You know, and Lundstrom's starting to fit into the middle of the park. Davis will have a role to play, but no, if we give him a testimonial at Oxley's with Northern Ireland, at Ibrox, whatever, fine, but I don't see Stephen Davis with us the following season. Arfield I'd put in the same bracket. We'll have to rebuild a bit next season, Bridge. Because if Golson moves on, I think Balogun could be his last season. This is just all my opinion. So and there might be a bid for a player or two. So, me, we'll have a bit of a rebuilding job to be doing at the start of next season. So, for me, no, I don't see Stephen Davis there, mate. I really don't.
Again, my opinion, I see Stephen. I see the changing starting to take place. It's actually starting to take place now. We've managed to get Lundstram into a sense of fitness because he wasn't quite fit. He's starting to play. He's less hot-headed. All these good things about footballing, and he actually runs the midfield. If you take Stephen Davis out of the team, he still runs the midfield. So to me, he's the man. He can play alongside virtually anybody in the team, and I think they looked good last night, those two. They complemented each other. So I would suggest, in my opinion, there we are. We've got two players for that one position, or even the two players can play in the same position, right enough, in the same area of the pitch. And that might last us through to the end of the season. Then a decision's got to be made.
The view for the bridge is finished. Come on, that's plenty, Isaac. Right, Big Al, the sands of time look for no man. And you know what I think of Stephen Davis as a man and as a football player. I think he's been fantastic through his whole career. But if I'm picking the team, then I'm playing three in the middle on for him. Tomorrow, in my opinion, Sunday, John Lundstram starts, and that's nice lighting Stephen.
No, it isn't. That's what I'm saying. We have to have this conversation. But look, you can't be sentimental. You know what I mean? He's a multi-millionaire footballer, so I'm not going to feel sorry for him if he's not playing. That's just life. But in the same respect, I want the best players on the park, and at the moment, I don't think Stephen Davis is the best player for that position, if you like. I think that there's players in front of him, so that's just what it is. I mean, he can, if he feels sad, just take his Lamborghini or whatever he drives for a wee drive in the countryside. That'll cheer him up, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to feel too sad for the boy. We need the best players.
Does that cheer you up? I don't think. When I drive mine, I don't find any different from when I get in and out.
When I'm in my Ferrari, I'm happy.
Well, you too, like.
Because the kids don't come in it with me.
Couple of shoppers. Couple of shoppers.
Listen, but just going back to last night's performance, if we didn't lose that silly goal against the Hearts, we're starting to hopefully get a bit of form Southside.
That's it, mate. I can see it. I said that, I think, for Hibs onwards, Hearts game and last night. I think we're starting to see the performances improve, Big Al, you know. And that's what we're hoping for. We'd start to see a wee bit more of a 90-minute performance. I think we're seeing a wee improvement now. We're just hoping we're going to start creating more chances and taking them, big man, you know. But it'll be a tricky game. See playing after this European night and then going there on Sunday. I'm not worrying about a performance on Sunday, big man, because we'll have Aberdeen at Ibrox where we could probably play better. I'm just looking to go there and get the 3 points on Sunday, you know. That's the most important thing for me.
Aye. But I think good results breed confidence in the team, which then I think breeds good performances or a mixture of the things. So ultimately, a bridge man does us, but you want to see the performances. You want to see a bit of skill. Look, if it's a 1-0 and we have an Aribo playing a good game and just say a Barisic in a wonderful game, well, that's positive. Maybe the whole team isn't going to take to the park and every one of them's going to gel and connect in the one game. But if we see performances for 2 or 3 players, like say we sit back and Morelos gets 2 goals, that's a positive. You know what I mean? It's a positive. We're moving forward. 3 points is ultimate in the league. That's the main thing. That's the big thing this year is the league title again.
You're spot on there. I think we'll come with Morelos after the tune, mate. Yeah, if that's fair with everybody, I think that's something else we maybe should discuss, you know. I think that's.
Because I don't think that Stephen Davis and John Lundstram. I never noticed. It wasn't a bad performance.
I'm not saying that. I'll cut across you. We've been joined by John. Evening, John.
Hi, Ox. How we doing, there?
Nice to talk to you, mate. How's things, mate? How's it out your way? All right?
All good, aye, all good, Neil, especially after last night.
Good, good. What's on your mind, John?
I was just wanting to say, I've been wanting to phone in all season just to say that I'm going to be the lucky charm to say I'm going to turn things around. But it's not been happening, eh? But after last night, it has. After Hibs and all, I think that's it now. We've got a bit of belief, we've got a wee bit of confidence, we've got a wee bit of, tiny wee bit of swagger again, and that's it. But I think we're going to do it now.
Aye, so we've got a couple on the slate, south side.
Aye, John, I think obviously the performances were a bit disjointed in a couple of results. I mean, we've dropped 4 points at Ibrox, but we should certainly have no dropped 8 points, but we're still top of the league, mate, you know. But we're still top of the league, and we're starting to see a wee turn in performances in the last 3 games, I think. So that's what we're looking for, mate, going forward. And we'll see come Sunday when we play St Mirren. Hopefully we'll keep the performances going. If we could get something like that, we'll make it easy for ourselves on Sunday. So that's what we're looking for, mate, going forward.
Definitely, Never. Definitely. I thought that myself. I was like, come Sunday, St Mirren away, wee tricky one, but I think the players have got the wee bit of belief again, and that's it. It's time now to be Rangers what we are, eh?
Aye, John, I think you're right. Who did you give man in the match day last night, John?
Have to be Aribo for me personally. Aribo he was outstanding, eh?
Aye. Are you claiming responsibility for the improvement in performances, John?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I've been saying it to my neighbours all the time, and it's like they keep watching. We're like, when we're going to turn up, when's it going to happen? And it's happening. Look, we can't disguise the fact that we're top of the league. We're what now, 3 points in Europe. As Stevie G says, another win against Bromby takes us 6. Hopefully they get beat. It'll be a better show against Sparta at him. Definitely a better performance. So let's keep the fingers crossed. And as Albert says, let's keep it going for the Rangers, eh?
It's quite bizarre. If we could win our next 2 games, we're runners up in the group. Highly likely, which we never seen coming after the first 2 games. But we'll see what it takes us. But John, we're just talking about the Lundstrom Davis. I don't say conundrum or problem, because it's good things to have good players. Lundstrom in the last maybe half a dozen games has came to the fore.
What I would have to say about Lundstrom is I was one of his biggest critics. We were at the Asker, I can't mind how to pronounce him, but the Asker game, we were there, and I was probably one of his biggest critics that night. I was slagging him off, I was slating him. Two stupid, like, schoolboy errors, like kids, and I was like, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, this man's doing what Stevie G says he was going to do. He's going to be our main man, and by the looks of it, if he keeps him going, he'll be another Alberts, another main midfielder that's going to keep us going strong, like, I believe it.
Okay, fair comment. Right, we're close to that time of the evening, but that's a fair comment by John there, Southside.
Aye, John, I seen Lundstrom's first game down at Tranmere, mate. You know, and the whole team looked sluggish and slow and stuff. But we watched him, and he did a good game. I was at Real Madrid and the Brighton game. And then he obviously had the wee hiccup by getting sent off and stuff. But he's had to come in, mate, and learn the system, and it takes a bit of time. Now you're starting to see him turn that around, you know, and we're looking at his performance now, and it's surprisingly, but like Hawk says, there'll be times now we're thinking where he'll take over central midfield for Stephen Davis in games. So that's how much he's come on, mate, to be honest, you know, that he might be keeping Stephen Davis out the team.
Definitely, neighbour. I think 2 years ago we used to give a boy a season to fit into our club. Give him a season, let us bed in, let him fit in. And now he has to bed in after 2 or 3 games. And as I say, I take it all back. What I said to Lundstrom, I sent a text to my neighbour the other night saying, look, I take it all back. I can see the total potential in that boy, and he'll be our skipper next, I think.
Well, you never know, mate, but he'd be there for a wee while and improve his performances, you know.
If he keeps
John,
going
He
up,
better have a good game on Sunday. Or else
You're right. We'll come in up, Big
He'll
Al.
get-
You sit in the corner and shut up. Linda's not here. You come back in a minute.
Oh, hey, behave yourself. Don't need to tell him to shut up. That's rude.
if it doesn't have a good game, I promise I'll phone in on Sunday and say, send all the duggers to me and all the darks. No problem.
You mentioned your neighbour there, John. Does he drink the Douglas Arms?
By the way, we're about 2 seconds to the Douglas Arms, me and D.
There you go. Small world, isn't it?
Small world, never, definitely small world. Mental health strollers.
Aye.
Tell you what, you can name any pub in Oxford's been in it, I'll tell you.
Right, get yourself in.
John, do you know Dougie Robertson?
I do, aye. Dougie
That's
Robertson,
fine.
yeah.
He's a good friend of mine, pal.
He's a good guy. A really good
And that's
guy.
Oxford's pal speaking.
Well, he's took time for trying on his cash store gear.
No problem.
Right, he's one of our, as you would say, he's one of our neighbours, Dougie, yeah, one of the good guys. Right, get yourself a mute. We're going to have a tune.
From Argyle, so young, to Glasgow City, they come, seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. For lads had a dream to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. So hoist up your Rangers flags, sing with your heart and voice. Celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are the Rangers, the greatest of all. For lads had our dream to start a football team. They had no money, no care, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers are born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. For that's our dream, to start a football team. They had no money, no kit, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers are born. 55 titles, we're still going strong. 55 titles, we're still going strong.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, okay, Big Al's right. Thursday night's gone, and now we're focused turns to Sunday, Southside.
Aye, mate, looking forward to Sunday. It's always the thing after a European game, you know, you're looking for a good performance and a result. So it'll be a tricky game, mate. I think they're undefeated in 6 games. They'll make it hard for us as normal. But it's about our attitude, mate, and how we play on the day. And hopefully we'll create enough chances and take them, and we'll win the game. That's all we're looking for, and hopefully a decent performance, mate, to get us through. It's the most important thing, you know, the league.
It's funny that a European tie keep you in the group stages, but St Mirren away becomes a bigger game.
Aye, it's just the way it is in our league, mate, isn't it? But aye, it's going to be tricky, mate. It's not going to be easy. But the most important thing is to get the 3 points. That's the most important.
All right, we're going to hear from the gaffer, people, and then we'll get your thoughts on what he says, and we'll get your thoughts on Sunday. So get yourself a mute, and let's hear from your gaffer, Stephen George Gerrard.
Just first of all, is there any team news ahead of Sunday? And secondly, particularly on Liam Balogun, who has been really almost quietly excellent lately. Has his form, do you think it's playing more regularly that's been helping Liam to achieve the levels of consistency?
I think he's just one who's really stood up to be counted. I think his form's been fantastic. Listen, Leon's an international footballer with big experience. He's played at a good level, and he was a really important signing for us. But obviously with the injury to Phil, you'd always like to try and keep a level of consistency in your centre-back partnership. So he's stood up really well alongside there. We'll give Leon every chance for the weekend. He's not ruled out just yet. He's still a doubt because he left the pitch. We'll assess him as the day goes along, and we'll try and get him recovered. I'd still say he's got an outside chance for the weekend, but we also have to analyse the risk. So we'll make a really late decision on that one, but it's probably 50-50 where we stand. The rest have come through fine. And it's also a big day for Ryan Jack because he's back with the team for the first time today in 7 months. So that's a big plus for us. Hopefully he can push on now and push through. We can get some 11v11 work in his legs, and he can be back with the team in the next couple of weeks, hopefully.
Ronnie, please. Just quickly, Stephen, is Ryan Kent also available then for tomorrow?
We've had to slow down on Ryan slightly. He obviously had a decent hamstring injury in there in a real tricky area, and when we've been really close to having him back with the team, we've just had a little signal that we've had to come back off him for maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 days. We're hoping to have him available around the Aberdeen game. If not, it'll be the one after.
Stephen, just in terms of Connor Goldson, there's been a lot of talk about his contract the last couple of days. Obviously, when a player gets close to January and having that freedom to talk to other clubs, speculation grows. I mean, what's your thoughts on this? Is there a concern about that in January, or are you confident of tying Connor down?
I'm not concerned. I'm not confident. I'm not really overthinking about it. Connor's a big boy. He's a man. Ross Wilson's office is next to mine. Connor knows what I think of him from a personal point of view and how much I want him to stay here. At the same time, we have to concentrate on the football, so it's important Connor keeps playing the way he is. I thought he was magnificent again last night. He was my player of the year last year, and I think for me, he's got more consistency as his time's gone on at Rangers. He's a really valuable player for me and us and the club. So hopefully we can find a solution. In terms of getting them tied up. I can't really go any further in terms of letting you know how much I want it to happen and how much I want him to stay. But at the end of the day, I'm not Connor, so I don't know what he wants. And I'm not the club, and I don't do the bank balances and the numbers. So for me, I can only tell both parties how much I want this to happen. And then it's down to other people to try and find a solution.
Just quickly, if you would, in terms of both parties, is it the players' side that's holding it up, if you're so confident that you want to get the deal over the line?
I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of both. Yourself, when you're trying to find a negotiation, yourself, when your missus wants a few quid and you only want to give it a certain amount as a negotiation that happens, that's the way it works. So it's probably both parties.
Mark, please.
Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Mark.
Jim Goodwin's been given the time to slowly put together a team that's pretty hard to beat and plays good football. Would you like to see more clubs allowing their managers to develop that? Because I think we're in an era where we used to laugh at European clubs for the way they changed their coaches and their managers.
Look, I think sitting in my seat and being in my shoes, you're always going to be part of the managers' union and say we need time. And listen, I think everyone knows when you take over a team, normally you take over a team that's been struggling or that hasn't been getting the results it should be getting. So it's impossible for an immediate quick fix and everything to be perfect. So sometimes things do take time to build, especially when there's a lot of issues to address and you need a certain amount of transfer windows to get the people that you're targeting to get in to make your team and your squad stronger. I think Jim's done a real good job, a real solid job. He has got them organised and difficult to beat. And he's got some really talented players within that as well. So credit to him. But for me, we've got to go to St Mirren and be aggressive and try and build on our performance on Thursday night and go and try and take maximum points. And that's what we'll try and aim to do.
When you mentioned the performance last night, I thought it was probably the most complete performance of the season so far. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to name a man of the match, considering performances all over the pitch.
Yeah, I like that. I like being in a position where you've got 5 or 6 really pushing to be the top man. I think that certainly helps in terms of your overall performance. I certainly agree with you. I think it was our strongest performance when you look at the 90 minutes. I still think our first 45 against Hearts was maybe slightly more electric, if you like. But if we can find a level of consistency now and build on Thursday night, we're certainly going to be a lot closer to how I want it to look. And then I think consistent results will certainly follow that.
Right, okay. Big Al, when your missus wants a few quid, you get into negotiations.
Right. She does what she wants.
Did you pick up on that one?
Oh, that was the first thing I picked up, and I'm saying, what's he on about? One of he lives away from home.
Did make me laugh, though. I think what you're saying. Well, I picked up some people may have picked up a negative. I picked a positive up on that. On you go, mate.
But I just think if Golson was going to stay, he would have signed that by now. It's as simple as that. So if he goes, that's it. As long as he's playing for now until he goes and he plays top draw football for us, I don't have a problem. Because that's one thing I don't think. He's had maybe off a bit of form here and there in games and that, but I don't think he's put the head down. And like you see some players with contracts and they didn't want to turn up for training or whatever it be. I don't think he's had an attitude like that. So if he plays well and we win the league and he goes well, great. I'm not really too fussed about it. But I thought if he was got to stay, would have signed a contract by now.
I don't know. Stranger things have happened, but look, it's modern football, Southside. It's the way the game works now. Fortunately or unfortunately, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I don't think it's completely dead, but the manager was saying there. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Dead. I said on here a few weeks ago, didn't I? I thought during the break he might have signed a contract. They didn't really follow up the question. I know he sort of said, is it coming from his side? But I thought a few months back, I thought Gerrard had said that the club had gave him a contract and he said he'll probably sign it and there's no rush and I'm confident in it. But it didn't seem to come across like that today. It's probably down to money, Big Al. I would think, and possibly the length of the terms here. If maybe he's looking for a 4-year deal, but I think there'll be a few clubs possibly sniffing at him down there, and he's going to get a minimum of 60 grand a week down there. So we're not going to be offering him 60 grand a week. So no, I think it's dead, big man. I think he'll probably move on, but hopefully he'll keep trying to playing steady for us. And it'll depend, mate, come January. If somebody actually comes in and he wants to sign a pre-contract, then things might change.
Would you be happy with him in January if he signed a pre-contract to play the rest of the season out with us?
For the big picture, in my own opinion, is aye. reluctantly I would, because if he's the sort of, he plays every week under Stevie G, you know. We're struggling a wee bit for centre defenders, but even come January we might have Hillander back and maybe Katic may come back. We'll see. He needs to play probably more games earlier and stuff. But that aside, talking about Golston, I would make, because the big prize is to win the league. And if he stays and he's going to leave at the end of the season, but he signed a pre-contract, as long as he gets us to win that league and he's playing all right, then I in my opinion, I would keep him.
All right. Bridgman, Balogun, hopefully it's just a tweak, just a precaution, right enough, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, well, we noticed him holding his hamstring, and we didn't know what was going to happen other than the inevitable, you know. He had to leave the field. If they caught it early enough, and it may be okay. It depends what treatment they give him. If they get it on ice and packed and so on and so forth, it may be okay. And let's hope it is. Because sometimes these things, it's all about what you do. If you continue with the same injury and you continue running with it, you just make it worse and worse and worse. So if he stopped, they managed to get him off and replaced, and that's great. And that's the way I look at it anyway. I think it's just marvellous. And I'm happy. I'm very happy. I think that as far as Golson's concerned, I think Golson will stay with us.
Right, okay. What are you basing that on? I think
there's a big issue regarding, I think his wife's just about ready to have another child. Or his partner, whatever it is. So I think it'll depend on that. And I think there's a...
Rumour has it that she's interested in back to where she came from, mate.
Yeah, that's correct. These are the things, that's why he's saying it's down to the family. So I think we need to wait another couple of weeks until the family side of things is okay. Or in some way or other okay. And then the big man will make his mind up then. And the big man is family.
Southside, if he's torn or pulled or done into his hamstring, he's not playing for weeks back again, is he?
No, he'll not be. I don't think he really knew the full extent of it, to be honest, when they asked him. It is a bit soon. I said on here before, didn't I? I thought Jack Simpson will probably get some game time. I wasn't hoping the Balogun would get injured, don't get me wrong, but I just thought it made sense with the game schedule. And also Simpson isn't in the European squad. So if you're looking at it as he tweaked it, would you be happy putting Simpson, or some might shout for Bassey to go in at centre back on Sunday? Then he'd probably have to play Wednesday, and then maybe hope Balogun can come back after that, or you could maybe see if he's all right for the Aberdeen game and get a bit more rest time, because we don't know how bad it is. But if it is tweaked in any way, shape or form, and you know yourself, Ox, it could be maybe 2-3 weeks easy, you know, depending on the severity.
There was mixed news on the Ryans. Big gal, Ryan Kent, no gone so well, but I think it's hamstring, so I still don't think we'll see him after an international break. Ryan Jack back training today, first time with the squad. Hopefully everything goes well and he can move on. He's build up to getting back to the first team.
I think they two players that are out, they didn't need to do anything. I think they can slot back into the team if they're or when they become fully fit. So that's not an issue there. Do you think we're really short on the centre halves, aren't we? Bassey, I don't think he's up to it, is he? Simpson, I don't think he's up to it. So I think that's an area we're going to have to look at. We might hear a centre half signing a pre-contract, and we'll need to bring in maybe 2 centre halves in January.
Maybe playing Big Joe Aribo there. He's played everywhere else.
You never know. He'd probably do all right there.
Al.
Yes.
See, when you say that about Simpson, but are you just basing that on, obviously, for what you've just saw coming in? I mean, he's looked a wee bit shaky, but I mean, we gave him a 4-year contract, I think. So, I mean, it's like anything. Well, they obviously seen something, but he's no. If you look at it, it's usually Hillander and Golson when they're fit and they play the big game. So it's like anything a wee bit. He's got to get in. Back? Hillander's maybe December, maybe January, but thinking what we're saying, he's not had a real chance. I mean, he's not looked too great, but he's not done anything majorly wrong, I don't think. I just think everybody just thinks, oh no, the minute he's put in the team. And I think-
We've had a player there before that was a similar thing with Edmondson, just never got a chance. So, look, it's difficult. Obviously, the man does not think he's capable, but whether he is capable when he takes the field, that's a different thing. I'd rather hear established centre halves in there than Simpson. But if that's all we've got to go with, we'll have to go with him.
Anyway, talking about people.
I'm just going to wrap out, boys. You have a nice evening.
Catch you later, big man.
Right, Big Al.
Take care.
We've been joined by Alex Fubershaw. How are we doing, Alex?
Good evening, Ox here. Bridgeman, Southside, and anybody. Who else is there?
Just us three and you, mate.
All right.
Anybody else you want
How
to
we doing?
invite, Alex? Invite anyone else you
Oh,
want,
good.
pal.
Good, Alex.
Oh, it's open for everybody. How we doing, everybody? All right?
Yeah, brilliant,
Aye,
pal,
good.
brilliant.
Good. What's on your mind,
Good
Alex?
stuff. Oh, I'm well pleased after last night's result. That certainly gave us a wee bit of pep now. Looking forward to Sunday, and here hope we can move on now. I was very pleased with the performance last night.
So, a lot of positives, I thought. Obviously, McGregor, nothing to do. Taven Golson grew into the game. Balogun was steady to went off. Borna, for me, still lacks a wee bit of confidence in midfield. Though the piece, I thought Rebo was fantastic. Lundstrom was good and Stephen steady. Up front, Roof gets a goal. Hadji and Roof and then flitted out in the game. Morelos needs a goal, mate, just to start them off again, mate. But overall, great team, a decent team performance.
I've got to agree with you 100%. Morelos, I think that the 99 goal, this 100 goals, just a wee bit of, it's held him back a wee bit now. He's getting a wee bit kind of anxious. And once he settles down, he'll definitely score it. Go on and score a few more goals after that, I'd imagine. Aribo's performance was unbelievable. That's the reason we bought that guy. Everybody could tell he was a footballer, and that was him came to fore last night.
Is that him growing up? Is that him growing up for you?
Well, I was always on saying he was a right footballer, you know. He definitely. Guys that maybe didn't realise how good a footballer was, they would have seen last night. He was head and shoulders above anybody else. Definitely. Only thing was, there were two kind of lapses with Big Bonner and that. And we know if I'd been a bit better quality team, they'd probably take the chances. So that's the difference. Bromby we're better than them, but they're not what you call a top team. So I'm looking forward to go there now. We've got a right good chance of beating them earlier. We're back into this Europa League.
Mm-hmm. I get where you're coming from. I think that the fact that we're starting to, I don't know, get results. A couple of goals last night. Get results. After Saturday we were all done, but maybe show a bit of form Southside in patches. We just want to put it together now and go on a run. But the league games are just a bit grinding them out, innit?
Aye, well, we've been patchy with about a good 35 minutes against Malmo at Ibrox as well, didn't we? But aye, Alex, I think the performances are starting to show a wee bit now, you know. We're starting to, the last three games have got better. We've probably not took all our chances. We get mugged by Hearts, you know, and but we're just looking to get that wee run of games together, and it'll be a tough one on Sunday, mate, you know, what it'll be like up there. But I'll be honest, I would just take a result of our performance on Sunday and hope to put a good performance on the Wednesday against Aberdeen at Ibrox, you know, and give them a doing.
Brilliant shout.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'll be a hard game. It'll be a hard game on Sunday. But concerned there with the centre backs rating off if Balogun, if he's pulled a hamstring and that. So we really need to be careful in there who's going to play. Big Bassey, obviously, and you've got Jack Simpson. It's not really set the header on fire, but this could be the thing, you know. But we've just got to go on with it. That's the thing, and it will be quite a difficult game here because they've had a bit of form in St Mirren. But you're right enough. It doesn't. It's not about it's the result. That's all we need down there is get the result. And here's
Also,
hope.
beggars can't be choosers. Jack Simpson's played with us before. Admittedly, he's not set the hell on fire that well, but we have to play him. If we have to play him, we have to play him and trust him. Let him go on. We've got to be able to play players that we can trust, and we've got to trust the players we need to play. Otherwise, it's just no much point in going on with them. We've got to do it. And I think the boy Simpson's going to be no too bad for us, given the chance to do it. The difficulty is he's with Rangers. You don't get these chances. You've got to grab it with both hands. Every time you get the chance, you've got to take it. If you don't, it gets more and more difficult to play. More and more.
I think what we've got to watch is we don't put people in a pigeonhole. He's played. Well, I'm just looking. He's only actually lost when Simpson's played. We've actually only lost one game, and that was at home to Slavia Prague. In the 90 minutes, if you discard the penalties against St Johnstone. Yeah, he's only been in the losing side once in 10. I think it starts. I'll just check it out if that starts or not.
That's the thing, Ox. No, a lot of people just.
Sorry, 6 games started for his sub. Yeah.
No, I don't think he's that bad. He's got to be able to do it and show it. That's all.
Yeah, when you go Southside.
I agree with you, Bridge. It's just, I mean, if you look at it, right, I think he was brought in left-sided player. So obviously, I think he'll come in and take over if Hollander maybe gets injured. So, but it's the same with Balogun. If Hollander was fit, Balogun was a backup to go in and play against him, and he's just come in and he's given him a wee bit of game time. So Balogun was probably going to be the natural one that would have probably been in for most of the games. So he's had to wait his turn. Hopefully, Alex, that he's watched, and he's had plenty of time to watch anyway. And hopefully, I think his time is going to be given a chance at some point. And he needs to hopefully get a game or two. And I think he's got enough in him, mate, that just needs a bit of time. And hopefully, nobody gets on his back early. He looks like he can ping a ball. He looks like he can pass. He's got a wee bit of pace. He's had a couple of times he's been caught out. But most of your defenders get caught out at times. It's just that he's come in and you're hoping that whoever's beside him is going to help him out. So I don't have any fears about playing him on Sunday against St Mirren or even against Aberdeen if it has to be on the Wednesday. No fears at all.
Oh, you're right enough, because he's played against Celtic, right? So he knows what it's all about. Oh, it'll be interesting to see what Stevie Gerrard does, if he plays him or not, or he plays Bassey in there. Because that's the options he's got now.
I've got on. Yeah, I think Simpson's looked better than Bassey did, and he's looking at appearances at centre half, mate.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's for the Scottish League. But if Balogun's got to be injured here, Jack Simpson's not even the Europa squad, so he's got to be left with Bassey. This is what he's trying to give you call it. If he's got to be playing in there, if Balogun's got to be out for 2 or 3 weeks now, it's a hard one. But here's hoping. Obviously, he can play that he's with Rangers in the first place, but I've had judgment on the guy. That's me.
Is there no a rule that can be used to allow, because of injuries, you're able to bring somebody else in?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Unless the goalkeepers are different, I believe, Bridge, yeah.
Okay.
But I think, look, what have we got? Catty shooting loan, Hollander injured, Balogun injured. You know, you're down to the bones, and maybe it's just as well we've got a Connor Golson type Southside who never misses.
That's a good point. That's a really good point now.
Aye, just going back to the negotiations, if you're his agent, you've got a strong case, and he never misses.
Oh, he's been knocking
never lets
the
you
day
down.
before tomorrow. If Balogun's out, if Balogun's out in any way, shape or form, you're straight in there. Hey, just a wee minute. Let's get this sorted out here. This guy's never missed a game, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
You're in a strong position. Anyway, we'll see what Sunday brings. Are you back with us, Southside?
Aye, mate, aye. We're just listening in.
All right, okay. Aye, on the corner, he never, just as well we've got somebody like him, he never misses, does he?
He's certainly the cornerstone, and he's picked him every game, and he's never out injured. So it's a funny situation that he's left himself in the now, but he's been dependable, and obviously Helander, he's been out injured. Balogun's had injury, and obviously Katic got an injury. So we've been hit pretty hard at times in the centre back position. So it's something I think we'll definitely need to be looking to strengthen either come January or it's definitely for the start of next season. Alex, do you think Balogun would be there next season, to be honest, mate, or do you think we'd need to start looking for other defenders?
Well, Balogun's there next year.
Aye.
Balogun? I don't know. Is that a year's contract he's got there? Is it a year's option he got there, Balogun?
This is his last final year.
This is his. So we could possibly lose the two of them, and we could possibly lose Big Ghost, Connor Golston as well, the way he's going. So we're definitely going to have to address the centre back.
Aye.
Because I voted Connor Golston the player of the year last year. He was absolutely terrific. Played every game the full lot. And you can read between the lines there. Stevie Gerrard wants him to stay. And it's the money. He's probably looking up to see what the top earners are getting. Maybe the guy feels he's due that, but that's between the club and that, what they can afford and what they can see. I mean, certainly his performances this year have been a bit stop and start. But saying that, the full team's not really produced any good performances consistently on that. So, but it's a hard one. I don't know. I think he'll be going. I think he'll go. Personally, I think he'll go. Be sorry to see him going, the big guy, because I think he's been a right stalwart to Rangers.
Money, amount of money or the length of the contract, mate, which is ultimately about money. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. What do you think he's worth?
Aye, I know, but it's either, and you might be getting offered decent money, but you want 4 years and that money, and somebody's only willing to give you 2.
Yeah.
I think Balogun will be offered a year's extension. I think he'll get a rolling year or something like that. That's what I think he'll get until he decides to go. What is he, 33, 34 or something, Balogun? Round about that anyway.
I'll soon tell you. By the way, Southside, it's hard to believe that Simpson's played 10 games for us, isn't it?
Aye, how many has he played? Has he played maybe 2 in a row and then been out in it? Probably. We probably not have played that many. No, it's Bridge. I'll be honest, Bridge. I just said earlier, I don't see Balogun being here next year. We've got to.
In what way?
I just think. Well, your contract will come to an end, and we've got to move on. And
Rangers won't give him another contract. Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
I think, and if Golston decides to go as well, then we'll need to get centre backs. We'll need to look, Bridge, I think, and try and get better than what we've got. We need players to come in and play week in, week out. Maybe Balogun's done well. He's done what we've asked him today, and I just think you've got to move on. You've got to freshen this squad. Arfield will be another one that'll leave, and there'll be others, 1 or 2 others. So, I see us having to change the defence probably quite a wee bit, especially in centre back for next year, mate.
I see it slightly differently, as I said earlier about Stephen Davis. I don't see the Big Bang Theory with them going, everybody's leaving. They'll leave, and the Rangers will make sure they manage it. I think they'll make sure they manage it properly, and they'll leave in a sort of slower. I just don't see Stephen Davis being thrown out the door and Balogun thrown out the door next season. I don't see it. However, I've been wrong before, many times.
I suppose it'll depend on, we're trying to predict the future here, Alex. It'll depend on fitness and maybe even injuries when you get in 6 months' time before you make that decision, huh?
Well, that's it as well. Injuries just come on you. It's part and parcel of it. It's interesting to see, because it's went on and on the Golston now. So I don't know what the bottom line is. I tell you, if they've presented, what do you call it, contract to him, or he's maybe no. I don't know if maybe his wife's want to get back to England. You don't know the things what's going on. He's certainly been a good player, isn't that? Last year, as I say, he was outstanding, and we certainly need him now anyway, because the centre back position, it just shows you what happens with big Hollander getting out there and Balogun taking a wee injury as well there. So it's an opportunity as well now then for Jack Simpson and what do you call it, Calvin Bassey right enough to step up. Interesting to see how it goes. But you know one thing, when we get in there on Sunday, you're going to get the sleeves rolled up now because it's got to be a right physical game down here. So hopefully who he plays, we manage to get a good result.
Aye, and here's a moment we've all been waiting for. Southside's team.
I haven't even thought about it yet. You want me to be right for two teams in a row, mate? Aye. Right, McGregor, Tav. I was tempted to put Patterson in because I think you'll get. I think we sometimes go to freshen it slightly in, but I thought Tav can win a game in the second half, so I'll keep him at right back. Borner's a stick on left back. Golson, and I'm going to take a chance on Simpson because I think Balogun, I think if we're wise enough, we should try and keep him just to make sure there's nothing goes any further than what the injury might be the now. So I'll stick with Simpson. Kamara comes back in, Lundstrom, and Aribo, and up front it'll be Alfie, Roof, and Hadji. We missed some, do it? No, all right.
No, I don't think so. No, you didn't have right in it, did you?
No, I was just saying that. No, I didn't do that. That's not much. I think there's one change. One change for Thursday, innit, really?
Aye.
Davis out and Kamara in.
And I think you had Jack Simpson in, didn't you?
Aye, Simpson, obviously. Aye, for Balogun, sorry.
I think you still you going with Tav still? Are you still swimming?
I thought he'd come on to a game, mate. It's a must-win game. The league's important. No, I'd like to probably have tried to added another couple of players in to freshen it, but I'm hoping that they'll just go out and get the job done in the first half, and then hopefully we can change things. A couple of players maybe later on, So I think they start with a strong team and try and get the job done early.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of that team, Alex? Do you think it's possible?
It's quite a good team, as a matter of fact. I'd probably go with that as well, to be quite truthful. I'd probably go with that as well. I'd say with Tavernier because of the second half performance, he came on to a game in that, but I wouldn't be surprised if the young boy plays or not, to be quite truthful. And Jack Simpson, well, play him in that and see how we go on that. Hopefully he does the biz. Midfield, I would go with Lundstrom. Kamara will come back, and I expect Aribo up front. I'd probably go Wright, Morelos, and Roof.
Nobody fancy Sakala?
Brand on the bench. Sorry, I think it'd be hard to bring him on the bench and that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's room for him, mate. I think he showed a wee bit more promise the other night. He got a wee bit longer and made some nice runs. Pace might hurt them if he's, like Alex says, right on one side, maybe Sakala on the other, with Alfie or Roof, whoever most people prefer through the middle. I'd still stick with Alfie, to be honest.
Right, okay. What are you thinking, Bridge? What are you thinking? I can see you scratching.
I'm thinking quite a few changes. I would go with young Patterson and two at fullback, and so I would do Ben Bassey as well. I'd put those two in at fullback. I would go with Simpson if Balogun's unfit.
Well, you're telling me that your back four and arguably the biggest game of the season is going to be Patterson, Connor Golson, Simpson, and Bassey.
If indeed Balogun's unfit, I wouldn't have a problem. That's what I would go with. I'd give the two youngsters a good shot. Why? There's something wrong with it.
Monday, they're making you drug tested.
Do you not like our fullbacks?
I think that I could understand people's argument if Tav wasn't playing well, but his performance last night, I think, merits the captain of the side playing in the next league game. I don't know.
I think it's a good opportunity for the manager to get some game time in for the youngsters.
You
That's what I think.
remember what happened a year ago?
I do, yes, and I'm sure he'll get over that and get back in and have a really good game and do things.
Right,
My midfield would be Lundstrom, Davis, and Kamara.
Right.
And I would play Aribo, Morelos, and Roof.
All right, so you're changing. You're putting Aribo back up front, swapping him and Kamara in, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay, aye. Pretty similar to Southside's, if I'm being honest, you know.
I'm not having his defence, but
There's no defence for his defence.
Oh, I mean, Bridge. We're talking about maybe flinging Jack Simpson in, right? And we're wanting them to be comfortable. You're looking for the experienced players, so surely you've got to have Goldstein and Borna and Tav beside them.
I'm quite happy going with those fullbacks. I think those fullbacks would be a very good fullback pairing. I really do. I don't have any worries about it. Let's put it that way. They will do what everybody else does that plays a Rangers jersey. They'll get stuck in. Are you worried about violence against
I just don't know if Bassey's going to make the grade with us, mate, if I'm being honest. Alex, can you come, mate?
Sorry, who's that?
I don't know if Bassey's going to make the grade with us, if I'm being honest.
All right. That's a hard one there, really. I think he needs, what do you call it, games in that. You'll see, what do you call it?
Enthusiastic.
The potential he's got in it.
You know, he's quick, he's strong. You know, he's got a lot of positives. But
that's his assets. That's definitely his assets. But I honestly don't know. They would really. I think they need to give them games in that. But the thing is, the games are coming fast and furious now. And that we've got to be, because we're going to have suspensions and injuries and that. So the guys who we play is going to just step up to the mark. As I say before, it's not going to be a gimme down there, because we know what it's like, a wee tight park and that. And they've had a wee bit of form, but it could go the other way. Rangers could go there and they could destroy them if they had a bit of form. But we know what happened the last time we done experiments down there in that League Cup, and it's a hard one. But that's what Stevie Gerrard's paid for, innit, to make all these decisions and that. But I don't think we're as great on the squad as we really think we are. With a couple of injuries and that, you can see now.
Aye, well, injuries to key players, Helander, you're covered, potentially Balogun's injured, Ryan Jack, you know, we've had key players that people think are key players. Listen, I admire Bridges' cojones for giving the boys a game that was one of the few games we lost last year, but I just can't see it happening Southside.
Nah, we've been stung down there before, Bridge. I mean, I respect what you're saying, and I think there will be a time. I mean, I was close to probably putting Patterson in my team, because I have said I think we need to get him 25 games or so this season. We need to swap them about. I would maybe incline, depending on how the team playing Sunday, Bridge. I could probably see maybe Patterson maybe going in against Aberdeen at Ibrox. I mean, I wouldn't be averse to that. I think it wouldn't really be that, but wouldn't be a problem. But I think coming off a European game, mate, and you're certainly freshening it up at the back. But I think we need to keep it close to a strong team, Bridge, for me, because it'll be a hard game, and well, it could be a hard game. It'll be as hard as we make it, to be honest.
Good point, Val. Good point.
I tell you what, but I do think they'll play for set pieces, particularly corner kicks, etc. That'll be their best chance of scoring goals against us, and that worries us that we've no go at your Balligans potentially a Hollander there, and it puts a lot of pressure on Connor Golson, eh?
Do you think Oxley might play McLaughlin? Maybe, and you might think cross stuff. He might want him to come out and command the area.
I think there's a chance that McLaughlin might have played nothing to do with what Alan done last Saturday, and I think Alan could come back on Wednesday night. I think that's a possibility, if I'm being honest. Alex?
That's a fair comment, yeah. It could possibly happen. I think, would you call it Jack Simpson, would you call it handle, would you call it cross balls and that, really? Because he's a fair height, the fella. He's about 6'2" or something, you know, 6'2", 6'3", so I think they should be okay there. But you're right enough, that's what it'll be. It'll be like dead balls, corner kicks, throw-ins and that. They'll just try and bombard the box and that. And they've got to defend it properly. But you could be right enough, they might bring McLaughlin in. They maybe
I
just
think
do
that's
that.
what most teams do to us. That's all they want to do, is they want to gain position, and then from a decent position they get the ball into the box, and then it's a 50-50 in the box, isn't it? You've got to be really dominant and get the ball away. So that's what most teams play for against us, or a penalty.
Mm-hmm. Well, you put your strengths, you know, but it's always great to watch, but tricky game for me, and for that reason, I think you go with the tried and tested Bridge. My sentiments try to give the young boys game time. I'll not say you're wrong, because you never know with Stevie G, mate.
That's absolutely right, by the way. I don't think there's very many people managed to name his team. Did you get that last one, Southside? Did you manage to get the last team?
No, I never.
Yes, I did. He knows I did. Don't let him.
56 attempts, not one right, Bridge.
Bridge, 100% correct. I was, mate. 100%
He had Sid
correct.
Carlin in his team.
No, I didn't. Even got me to name it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, mate. That's how bad it was, and he's still no giving me credit for getting it right.
I love it. There was a question raised in the follow today, which is when you said they asked a question at 3 o'clock. And
there was a
somebody
question raised in the House of Commons about him getting his teams ranked.
And somebody says, Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock or whatever it was, how did they get all the people in Celtic Park?
Well, you know how they don't work.
Oh, there you go.
Right, where are we? Right, okay. Tricky game, Alex. We win it. Hopefully, gives his confidence for maybe it's traditionally a big game on Wednesday night, so the games are coming thick and fast.
Absolutely. Good thing about it, Sunday, we've got 2 stands, isn't we? So that's a bit more support in there as well now, so you've got that.
Money talks. Money talks.
That's right. Aye, money talks. That's the same. You've got to look after their interest as well now. That's what they're saying. But if they could get off, they've already said that. I know they wouldn't have us in there. This is the thing about them. It really annoys you. But they'll take our money and that. But you just follow the club, so you're going to go anyway. But that's the positive. We've got two stands down there. And as you say, the Aberdeen game, that'll take care of itself and all. They're probably... they're playing that bad now, but when they come to Ibrox, they'll probably step up a wee bit. That's just how it goes with them.
The taking the tickets, and Bridge, you're not getting involved in this one. Southside taking the tickets, it's tempting to say stuff it, but we want as many as we can get for away games.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people come on and say they don't want to travel and that. It's everybody's own opinion and that, but it is a bit of a lottery at times with the tickets. But they've made 2 ends available, and to be honest, they've actually priced it no bad at £27. You know, so in fairness to them, it's a reasonable. Well, it's obviously overpriced Scottish football, but for what you're watching at times, but they're reasonable. It could have been easily they could have made it £30 or that is, but they haven't. So a wee bit of respect to them for that. But mate, the tickets will be hard when it's coming to away games this season, just with allocation and stuff. But we'll just fight on and hopefully we'll manage to get them as we go along, like everybody else tries to do, you know.
It's a conundrum, Alex, isn't it? you know, they're actually insulting you in one. We don't really want you, but we'll give you them anyway if you give your money, you know.
It's quite embarrassing. That is what they come out and they're saying. They're taking the money off you and they sit the other hand, you know. That Tony Fitzpatrick, he made the statement at the beginning and that big Goodwin came out right there. But the point is, if they could get 8,000 of their own fans in there, they would cover them. But they can't do it. Motherwell the following week, I think their ticket's 30 quid. So there you go. So £27 in there, 30 quid at Motherwell. But we pay it. That's what we do. We want to go and see our team.
Here. If you hear anybody that's got a spare for Motherwell, let me know. I know somebody that's looking for one. Right. Right. Okay. Will we change any of our shape at this game? Are we going to just be like the performances, Tannadice, St Johnstone, and see how it goes? Southside.
I think we're pretty rigid on our shape, mate, innit? Maybe at certain times in the game we like only sort of changes shape slightly, but see it being a 4-3-3, mate, don't see anything changing. I think we'll just look to zip the ball about, get quick movement and pass them off the park. They'll play the long ball most of the time. They'll obviously change for us. Against other teams, they try and play a wee bit of football, I think, St Mirren, but with us, they're expecting us to probably dominate the ball. So I think it's just about us getting the passing crisp and just get in about them, and hopefully when we get a couple of chances that we're taking them straight away. It's just about getting a couple of goals, mate, early doors for me. So strongest team possible, mate, normal system, and just get steamed right into them.
Bridge?
I agree with Southside to a certain extent, but I do feel there's an addition for them. I think there's going to be a bit of violence. I think that's the type of football they're going to play. Going into tackle for virtually everything, and a lot of the times when you do that, then there's chaos, and I'm sure there's going to be a few tasty challenges going in against the Rangers, and that's the way they want to play against Rangers. If they've got the players to do it, then just go and do it. Nobody's going to complain. That's the truth. Other than Rangers, they're nobody going to complain. So we need to be aware of that, and then get big steel toe cap boots on and go to them and do the same to them. That's what I could say. Because I don't see any other way it's going to happen. We need to be able to play these teams off the park. If we drop our standards or our pace to any level and near them, they will take over. And it's just in above the grass, it's clattered. Clatter, clatter, clatter. You've been there, Oxtail. You know it. No, I don't mean you've done it. I'm just saying, you know, you've been there, played against teams, and you just know what's going to happen. Just watch them, you know.
You know what you're going to get sometimes, don't you? Yeah, but I think, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Alex. If we play, we win, and we win easy.
Yeah. If we can get the tempo up right away, and have a go at them in that and share it goals. But we know it's going to be physical in that, but so it's like these games. But here's hoping. The ability we've got, the players and that, I'll see it as our line.
Aye, that's it. And listen, we don't need to play at 100% Southside. If we play at 70%, there's only one winner.
See, Bonnet, there's no fear about this game. You know, it's under don't fear is at all. It's about application. Coming back after the European game on the Thursday night, and ideally you'd like to probably freshen it. You might freshen it more than we've picked the team, but the main thing is it's a big game, it's a league game, and we need the 3 points. And if we can get a good performance to go with it, then all the better. So for me, that's it. Just get steamed right into them on Sunday. Doesn't matter how physical they make it. We just need to play through that, win the battle, and then just get the goals, and we'll go up the road happy. And whether it's been a good performance or no, at the end of the day, we look back, will not really matter. It's the 3 points, isn't it? It's the 3 points that matter.
Yeah. Well, you'll not believe that. Southside, we've reached that time of the evening.
Oh my God.
Well, mate. Aye, thanks very much, mate.
Oh my God.
Good to have a good wee conversation tonight about the Rangers as always. And good to hear from Big Al and Alex being on, regular callers, mate. So thoroughly enjoyed it, and thanks very much. And thank you, Bridge, as well, mate.
Thanks for your insight, mate. Enjoyed it, and always good to have you. But at this time of the evening, it's over. Oh, let Alex have a shout out. He's part of the furniture as well. Go on, Alex, give us a shout out.
Oh, what a fantastic show you put on. Thoroughly enjoy it. I know a lot of people that sit with Ibrox and that. They think you're a great show as well, like, you know. So credit to everyone he's in that, you know. So I'll tell you what happened as well when I'm sitting out there in the enclosure, and when Ali McCoy's and that, they're just up on the platform there. And when it came to the goal there with Ruth, or they thought it wasn't the goal, so they were shouting up at McCoy's, and he leans right there, and he puts his hand down with the thumb and puts it down, that it's not a goal, right? Then the next thing it comes through, it's a goal. And he handed the mic out over the barrier to one of the punters as a joke, like, to come up onto the platform. But when the 2 goals are in, believe me, Ali didn't have to celebrate.
Well said. Well, I can just imagine that. I can just imagine it. Seriously.
You just finish up there, Bridge, with
I will
some
do,
four
pal,
stops.
yes, yes. By the way, well, an absolutely brilliant night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And a big thank you to Southside for taking us through it, partnering me on it. And of course to big Alec, young Alec there from Wishy. Celtic are broken. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one is. Everybody, keep it going for the Rangers. Keep it going, because they need us.
We'll be back in an hour before kick-off on Sunday, so we'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear, of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Ryan Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair Price came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster men who wore the shirt of blue, Bertie Manderton, Sam English, Laurie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest, Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Laudrup came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoy came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, then no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. If we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.